And we welcome you to night 2 WrestleMania review here on This Is Wrestling. It's Lee Versage. It's the Zach of all trades, Zach McGibbon. Man, oh man, I have seen and heard your face and voice all weekend long, Zach. WrestleMania. After a live edition on Sunday, we come to you recorded here on a Monday morning after night 2 of WrestleMania. Are you all wrestled out, or you still got some juice?
A little column A, a little column B. We finished night 2. We had a lengthy recording, as you mentioned, going live Sunday for night 1. A lot of great feedback on that. Some people not as big of a fan of our WWE takes on that night 1 as others. That's okay. I'm willing to take the heat. I'm gonna tell you how I feel. I'm gonna tell you how I see it.
That's right.
And sometimes you're gonna piss people off. And apparently, some people were not happy with some of my takes, specifically calling it the worst WrestleMania. What about WrestleMania 9? What about WrestleMania 11? You know, how many ad breaks were in WrestleMania 9 and WrestleMania 11, and how much at least those shows felt like WrestleMania shows, you know? So I won't delve into it. I put all my thoughts in night 1. Who knows what I think about night 2? Do I think it's worse? Do I think it's back to back? Do I think it's better? We're going to find out here in a moment.
So we will talk about night 2 here in a second, but I want your overall answer without getting specific, because we'll do that at the end. Do you judge WrestleMania now like on a night to night basis, and like night 2 is completely separate from night 1, almost like they're 2 shows? Or when you get to the end of Sunday night, is everything all wrapped up under, one umbrella, and you judge WrestleMania from the beginning of Saturday until the end of Sunday?
I personally treat each night as its own individual night, because that is the viewing experience that some people will only watch night 2. Some people will only watch night 1. I feel it is fair to cover each show individually in that capsule of time.
Mhm.
Obviously, because of the branding, you're going to get some overlap. So of course, they'll talk about stuff that happens on the previous night or the next night or whatnot, and how it kind of correlates. But I look at each show individually. And so I look at night 1 as its own show and night 2 as its own show. I've done that for Wrestle Kingdoms. I've done that for other multi-night events. So that's how I kind of view them.
And SummerSlams, and
Yep.
probably in the future, Royal Rumbles and Survivor Series, and 3-night backlashes still to come in the future. So,
Yeah. In a different location each time, like WrestleMania 2. One will be in New York, one will be in Los Angeles, and one will be Vegas.
oh boy. So some of the arguments, and again, I think I'm gonna retitle myself as the premier host in the palatial estates, because every night seems to be, and it's my doing, don't get me wrong, like it, but we got, like, what a group we had here last night to watch night 2. We had the man of all things country. And when you look at Gord St. Dennis, there's nothing about him that speaks country, but he's on the radio. He was in Kingston. Now he's in Ottawa. He's the host of the Red Blacks. Like, Gord St. Dennis is the man. And he brought himself out to the palatial estates last night.
Unbelievable.
It was unbelievable for him to come and to be a part of it. And he was great to be able to see Gord. We talked to him a little bit. Nobody, Zach, and I would put him probably at the top. Underrated because we don't always hear from him, but there isn't like 1 minute of one show that this guy has not heard. Like,
Yeah.
even yesterday when he came, right? We did the live show and he's talking about things in the beginning of the show, the middle of the show, the end of the show. I'm like, dude, like, you have a kid. You're busy this afternoon, and then you're here, and we only finished like 6 hours ago. It was a 2-hour show, but no, you've listened to the whole thing.
Unbelievable.
He was unbelievable.
Awesome.
So to be able to see him last night, and then we had our good friend, well, some of our good friends, Le Champion.
I like Le Champion. I'm a big fan of Le Champion.
You're a fan of him.
He might not be a fan of me right now, but it's okay.
Look, no, but sometimes the truth hurts, is what I would say. All right. And Le Champion, very busy this weekend. And like most people, and this is actually interesting, Zach, before we get into night two, about like, so, I watched WrestleMania night one late Saturday night and was able to go through some of the like the card without, I think you said it was 45 minutes between the second last and the last match.
Yep. 4 or 5.
Right. So I didn't have to go through that.
Mm-hmm.
Le Champion, I know, like a lot of people, like, to be able to just carve out 4 hours on Saturday night and then 4 hours on Sunday night when the event is on is just not how people consume things anymore. And maybe for big events, yes, but it's hard, right? Especially back-to-back nights for the same thing. Like, you get home for the weekend and you're like, oh, sorry. You tell your partner, you know what? I'm good, but like Saturday from 6 on, like I'm done. Oh, and Sunday from 6 on, like I'm done. Like it's tough.
Yep.
And so I know people didn't consume night number one the same way as others did, right? So if you had to sit there and watch what I personally think was not a very good night at all for WrestleMania number one, and then you had to watch the 45 minutes of commercials and you had to do all of that, it's not the same experience of watching a 7-minute match and fast forwarding to the next 7-minute match. It's just a different experience. Mm-hmm. And it's probably not as bad. You wrap up in an hour and a half. There was an hour 24 of wrestling in a 4-hour period. You wrap it up and you're like, yeah, okay, it wasn't great, but your experience is completely different from someone who watched it for 4 hours. So, yeah, the Champion was over. He brought his belt, which is good. The old, like the big gold belt from
nice.
the NWA, signed by Bret Hart and Randy Orton, by the way.
There you go.
But more importantly, way more importantly, I should have led with this. He not only brought ribs, but he brought his own kind of recipe. He cooked them for the most part at home, brought them over, finished them off here, and they were delicious. So it was a nice WrestleMania party. We had the hangers on, the Super Eats got over with about, which is now is going to be his name.
Of course.
Like,
I can't wait for the Photoshop logo too of Super Eats. This is going to be, as soon as Skews brought it up on the live chat, and again, this is why you got to take part in the live shows and take part in the live chat, because you never know if your ideas are all of a sudden going to be used as content on this show.
Well, you can't make it up, right? Like,
exactly.
The Super Eats man now, I was going to call him the super fan, but no, Super Eats came over, delivered groceries in the middle of a live show.
Yeah.
And then got named Super Eats, and now that's his nickname. Like, that's why live is live.
Yep.
So he came over. I think he got here with 2 minutes to go in the main event. Like, he's like, perfect. Like, this is awesome.
It's timing impeccable.
Yeah, it was good. So a nice collection of wrestling fans here, and dare I say, for the most part, like a very pro WWE crowd.
Mhm.
which is different than watching in some of the other ones that we watch, right? We get together and watch some AEW, and it's a lot of pro AEW people and anti WWE, but wish the product was a lot better.
Yep.
So looking forward to night number one and the match, Zach, that you said it was the one that you were looking forward to the most as we entered into WrestleMania weekend. It was Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi to kick things off. Okay, this is the one that you wanted to watch the most.
Mm.
What is your take on the fact that Oba Femi pins Brock Lesnar? And we'll talk about what happened after.
Yes, that's right. Because there's certainly a lot to talk about after. The match, I thought it's exactly how it should have gone, and I thought they did this perfectly. They needed to establish a guy, and this was a perfect opportunity for it. ESPN, in terms of mainstream stars, this is probably your biggest mainstream star in Brock Lesnar that's out there first, setting the tone. And you want to go out there, you got a guy in Oba Femi, and we'll see how he ends up being, but he's somebody that a lot of people believe that you can go behind and push and put him in a spot in the main event. And in order to do that, you have to have him get some big wins. And he went in there and he beat Brock Lesnar clean. It was a 5-minute match. I thought the layout of this match was perfect. Just Brock seemed trying to, put the F5 on him. He does. And I thought Oba's selling of it was great, where he didn't exactly like pop up, no sell, like Road Warrior Hawk, no selling the pile driver.
Yeah.
Like he like got on his knee, like on one knee, and he was like stumbling to get back up on to his feet. And I thought that was perfect. Like, I thought that was great selling of, he felt it. It was a move, but he's also, he took it, right? And now he's getting back up on his feet, and it's got Brock stunned because usually he's able to put people away with the F5. And then, of course, Oba Femi being able to put away Brock and pin him clean. I thought, in terms of how you want to book a guy and try and put him over, I thought this was the perfect way to do it. Big fan of this. I was so nervous coming in because I saw, and look, they got me with this. I heard the Paul Heyman promo coming into the show on Raw, where he's like, "This is not a prediction. This is a spoiler." And then you go, "Oh boy." And so, but Oba Femi won. I thought this was the right call. I thought the way that they laid this out was perfect. I really enjoyed this. This already from night one was a significant improvement to the start of the show.
Right.
So I enjoyed this.
So for me, first of all, like you said, it felt different. And that to me was so important to kick things off with something that felt different from night number one, which in my personal opinion was a disaster. And I know we talked about it on the live show, but to be able to recover from that and have it feel like a big fight have it feel like it's WrestleMania on this stage, it was okay. I guess I'll ask you, should it have been longer? So officially, at least what I have, it goes 4:46. Some of that was just that tie up that took forever.
Yep.
Like, we're going to show you that nobody's more powerful than the other guy because we'll just stand here. They didn't do all that much in 4:46. Should it have been longer?
No, I think this is, to me, they got what they needed done here. If that went longer, you start to, it's the whole story of this was two bulls going at it, right? That's the whole build going into the matches, these two bulls, and they're going to go 120% at each other and just beat each other up. And I love the collar and elbow tie up at the start because you saw neither guy moving. They were going back and forth. And it was like, all right, it was supposed to be a way to kind of establish that Oba Femi is an equal to Brock.
Yeah.
And he's able to be just with Brock. So everything that they did, like they did the tail of the tape, which you never really see, is like, oh, look at the size of this guy compared to the size of this guy. This guy's got this reach. It felt very sports based. And,
and the
that's
numbers,
why I loved it.
The numbers were a little bit like, oh, wow.
Yeah, exactly.
E310, like his reach is this. Like, wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Like just the same amount of reach of Brock. And Brock is, when he went to the UFC, he was known for obviously being a freak athlete, but also his reach was unreal for a guy his size.
Right.
So to be able to put that up on the screen, especially on ESPN, I thought that was really smart how they did it. So I don't think it needed to be any longer. I think this was perfectly set. You got the message across. If it went a little bit longer, like if it went maybe a minute longer and made it more than a 5-minute match, maybe you could, throw in some stuff. But this was clearly, and you could tell too that Brock was leading the match. Like it was very obvious that Brock was leading the match. Like, all right, do this, and I'm going to sell for you here. And I thought this was just tremendous work to start off the show. It didn't need to be anything more than it was in my mind.
So sometimes when people come on the scene quickly, right, you can see their star power, but they don't look ready for the time. Like they do things that they're still green. They're rookies, and rookies in any sport at any time. They have flashes of brilliance because of their skill, but you also know with some other things that they do that they're not ready for the big time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I found a weakness in Obafemi. Now look, it's 446 and they're not asking him to do much. I get it. And they're asking him to do the Oba walk down the longest ramp ever. And I'm like, he is going to be gassed by the time he gets to the ring doing this walk.
Yeah.
But when he came out, he was over.
Yep.
And you could hear that he was over. Nobody was over on Saturday night, right?
Wild.
The crowd was dead. But when he came out, I think they pumped a little noise into the stadium, personally. But
that's been their MO for the longest time. They love to pump in the crowd noise. So yes.
Yeah. So I think they did. But he's still very over. And every little thing that he did, from when Brock Lesnar came down, he never took his eyes off of him.
Yep.
Ever. Like the whole time. It's a little detail, but I'm ready. And when you're at WrestleMania and you're nervous and Brock Lesnar is coming out and he walks around the ring, that's a long time to stare at somebody you're not going to flinch. And he didn't.
Yeah.
When Obafemi won, you mentioned the detail about how he took the F5 and sold it, but still was able to get up and do his own move. I thought it was really good too. Mm-hmm. Because it didn't, like those no sells when they just get right back up are terrible.
Yeah.
And that's not what happened. But when he won, when he got the 3 count, he sold the look of astonishment of like that he was able to beat this icon in Brock Lesnar. And I just don't know that people understand how difficult that is to sell that properly. To sell it like he really genuinely looks astonished, but not in an overselling, like this is the biggest upset in the world. It's I'm his equal, but holy crap, I just pinned Brock Lesnar. This kid looks ready for a lot of things. Like when he talks, his promos, he doesn't look like other guys.
Yep.
And I hate to compare him to Hulk Hogan, who it's good that we got, a million different parts of the documentary.
On the record right now, are we reviewing the Hulk Hogan documentary for This Is OSN?
Yeah, I think we're going to have to.
Oh boy. All right, let's go.
I know.
Get fired up.
Well, at least they gave us some piece of the Ted DiBiase story when, like, back in 79, I think,
mm-hmm.
which I thought was cool. But yeah, I talked about it actually with Gord St. Dennis about like it's going to be tough because you don't want to throw a whole bunch of shade on the dead,
Yep.
but when you talk about him, it's going to be hard not to talk negatively about some of the things that he did. But you know what? We're going to have to do it.
Yep.
So that comes out, what, in a couple days? Wednesday, I think.
Wednesday. Yep. Coming up soon.
But when Obafemi talks, he doesn't waste words. He doesn't overtalk, but he is able to convince you when he is talking that what he's saying is meaningful and not just like the big, I kill you because I'm not allowed to talk.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
So I say 3 words.
Yeah. We limit your words.
Right. So
you, like pointing at you.
Right.
Like just like
it doesn't feel like that, but he doesn't say all that much, but it doesn't feel wasted either.
Yeah.
All of these little details feel like he's ready. And then, like Obafemi, the crowd chanting for Oba after, we'll talk about the main event, and but like afterwards on the post show, they're chanting for Obafemi. They're saying, "Oh, Oba's gonna kill you," like
to Brock Lesnar,
to Roman Reigns,
to Roman Reigns. Oh, right. You're talking about the post game.
the post show. Like this guy is over with the crowd. Okay, so he beats Brock Lesnar. The look of astonishment. I think he does well to get out of the ring with the fanfare and still be believable. And then they go back to Brock Lesnar. And I'm going to give them a massive compliment here as Brock Lesnar starts crying, takes his like arm pads off, his hand pads. Then he takes his boots off. The commentators didn't say a thing. That was beautiful. And Brock Lesnar goes through the motions of retiring or showing that he is going to retire. Never says that. But as he's going out, he's hugging Paul Heyman. It looks very real. He is high-fiving the crowd. The crowd is giving him a standing ovation. So all of the elements to look like Brock Lesnar is going to hang them up. What did we think of the post Obafemi Brock Lesnar part of this?
Took me by surprise. I think it took a lot of people by surprise when he started doing, untying the boots and getting the gloves off. It was surprising, but as I kind of searched around, maybe I shouldn't have been as surprised because there's been a lot of talk about Brock. I think we even discussed it on the show where it was discussed and mentioned that if Brock were to retire, he doesn't want to lose until his retirement match, his last match. And so with him losing, I guess that would be indicative of him retiring, right? So I was a little bit surprised, but I guess in the case of Brock, it's like, look, if I'm losing, like that's it. Like I'm done. Like I shouldn't be going on a massive losing streak because of the way I've been built over the last couple of years. So as of now, the way that it played off, and if they work me, that's a tremendous work because I think he's done. I mean, I know that there's the stuff with Paul Heyman and like owing Gunter a favor, and there's still the career killer stuff with Gunter, but this is going to be one of the points I wanted to make on the show is that I don't know if people want to have their career done in by Gunter and be part of that lineage of people, especially with the spot that Gunter's in right now. Why would they want to lose to a guy that's not essentially like Gunter was in a mid-card spot at night one after beating AJ Styles, after beating John Cena, after beating Bill Goldberg. You could talk about the booking of it, and there's certainly an argument to be made on that. But I don't think these guys view Gunter as a star. And so that's why they're not like, why am I going to lose to Gunter if it's really not going to be that beneficial? He's just going to stay in the same spot and he's not going to be elevated to the likes of a Roman Reigns or a CM Punk. With Obafemi, there's way more upside and a potential for him to get in the main event and be over. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts on that because we saw if Brock is truly retired, that means Brock will not lose to Gunter. We talked about with Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio's like, I'm not losing to Gunter. I'd rather be in the Intercontinental title ladder match than be the guy that loses to Gunter. And you can make an argument for Chris Jericho as well in terms of his retirement stuff. So
yeah, I'm not going to buy into this. No. So I don't think Brock Lesnar's retired.
Okay.
I think Brock Lesnar, say what you will about his past and the person that Brock Lesnar is or was, I do think Brock Lesnar is one of those guys that cares about leaving the business better. I think he does care. And regardless of what he's going to do after WrestleMania, if he's going to lose to Obafemi and in his mind, he's going to get Obafemi to the next level, I think he's going to do everything in his power to be able to do that. And not just like Randy Orton, get my heat back at the end of a match, because I'm not sure what that does. The way that he went out last night gives Obafemi every single thing he needs. I don't buy into the, like, just because Rey Mysterio, the WWE wanted him probably, it sounds like, to lose to Gunther. And he decided that I'd rather lose to my son in Mexico. I don't think that's a reflection on Gunther more than it is, how am I going to end my career? And if I end my career with my son in my home country, that sounds better to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that's a Gunther thing. I don't think the Chris Jericho thing is I don't think Chris Jericho re-signed in AEW because he was going to lose to Gunther. I think he just decided he wanted to be around for a while, and WWE didn't want him around for 2 years or 3 years.
Right.
So while I agree with you, the WWE has not booked Gunther very well. In fact, I was pretty heated on the night one edition of that.
You were at your breaking point, you said, when it came to the Gunther booking.
Yep, because this isn't just dropping the ball. They've dropped the ball at the top of a hill and the ball has rolled all the way down to the bottom of the hill.
Yep.
Like it's embarrassing what they have done. But I also look at it and go, that's on them. And I think their plan was that they had Rey Mysterio and they forgot about it, or they just decided it wasn't important because we got Gunther and Rey Mysterio. When that fell through, they didn't have plan B.
Yep.
And that's on them. Like,
absolutely. So, I want to be clear. I trust me, I'm a big Gunther guy, and the booking has not been reflective of that. I'm just trying to analyze the minds of because I've noticed just a trend now ever since the AJ Styles stuff. Is like, could you make is Gunther a bigger star,
right,
after beating John Cena, after beating AJ Styles? I think he was after beating Goldberg, and then to an extent after Cena, but I think he kind of was the same after Styles. Yeah. And if you're somebody that's going to lose in your final match, you don't, especially like a Brock Lesnar type. If you're going to lose to somebody, you're going to lose to somebody that you think is going to have the upside and is going to be bigger afterwards. And Oba certainly is benefiting from this, I think. So
I agree with all of that. I think Gunther was their top star after he beat Cena. And like the night he came out after on Monday Night Raw and from Saturday night's main event and right after that. And it was just, they dropped the ball on him after that.
Yep.
But it was only a couple of months ago. And they can fix it. So I just go back to if Brock Lesnar is able to put both guys over, or let me throw at you this, that Brock Lesnar decides, okay, he put Obafemi over. And what if you want to get rid of the career killer gimmick for Gunther because he can't do this forever?
Mhm.
He's got to be something else other than just every time he wrestles in a big show, he's going to retire somebody. That's not a gimmick that you go out for the next 10 years and do.
Gonna say it's not a very sustainable gimmick.
No. So what happens if Gunther does exactly what you were talking about? He's owed a big favor by Paul Heyman. He asked Paul Heyman to bring Brock Lesnar back, and Brock Lesnar says no. And he keeps doing things, and maybe Gunther maybe destroys Paul Heyman or does things like, who knows, like Gunther going to Saskatchewan, or like I don't know.
Showing up at a WHL game.
But I still think for Brock Lesnar, going out in Minneapolis might be a big deal for him. It's a big deal for Rey Mysterio to probably go out to his son in Mexico. Why wouldn't it be a big thing for Brock Lesnar to go out and have everyone there for him? Because you got to remember for his sake. Now, I don't know whether Sable and his kids and like everyone was there last night. I'd like to find out, because if they were there in the crowd, I know Roman Reigns' wife and kids were there. Because if they were all there and they just didn't want the fanfare, they didn't want it to be part of the angle, okay. But what happens if he beats Gunther in Minneapolis at SummerSlam? He puts Obafemi over. Obafemi destroys him. And Brock Lesnar says, okay, I did that for Obafemi. Obafemi, Roman Reigns said last night afterwards when they were chanting for Obafemi that, okay, we'll see how you do in the summer. Like, you had a big night tonight. Good for you. We'll see how you do throughout the summer. Doesn't sound to me like that's going to take on Roman Reigns right away. Okay, let's get to the question. What happens if Gunther gets Brock Lesnar out? He has never said so far that he's retired.
Yep.
They just go on the assumption, and Gunther pulls him back out for one more match, and Brock Lesnar beats Gunther and then retires at SummerSlam in Minneapolis, in his hometown, in front of his family, in front of his friends. He doesn't have to put anybody over, and they're able to take away a little bit of this career killer gimmick and put Gunther on a different path.
That could definitely work out. I think that would work out for everybody, because even with Gunther taking the loss, I think my whole thing is, I think we kind of know where Gunther stands in the company. Like, if they wanted Gunther in the main event or in a higher prominent position, they would have found a way. And so I think if this is an opportunity for them, people have been wanting a Gunther Brock Lesnar match. I certainly have been wanting a Gunther Brock Lesnar match.
Yep.
So if this is the opportunity to do that, you do it in Minnesota during those 2 nights of SummerSlam, and who knows, maybe here's the thing with Brock. We all know that Brock is a very private person.
Yep.
And so maybe he's just like, look, I'm done. I'm out. I'm good. I don't want this big fanfare. I'm gone. There's a firm possibility that's the case. But we also have to take into account that we know that TKO likes to come in when they feel like business is down and they need an attraction. You better believe that they're going to be calling up Brock Lesnar and be like, hey, Brock, I know you retired, but we'll offer you this amount, and you just work the one night with Gunther, and you could do your 5 to 8 minute match, and then we won't call you anymore until Saudi Arabia, right? Like, that's that could also be the TKO way, and you can't entirely rule it out at all. So, but to answer your question, I think that would be perfect for all involved because then you can get yourself out of this career killer gimmick.
Which I think is important if you want to keep Gunther going, because I think that's done now. I think they believed he was going to retire Rey Mysterio, and that's why he has the career killer gimmick now. I don't think they planned on him being the career killer, what we know, and facing Roman Reigns in the middle of night one at WrestleMania, or Seth Rollins in the middle of night one at WrestleMania.
Yep.
That was not the plan for the career killer. So, yeah, I think it's a way out. And Brock Lesnar's never said so far that he's retired. I agree with you that he is one of those guys that if he wanted to just retire and didn't really tell anyone and wanted to leave it all in the ring last night, yeah, I mean, it is a possibility for sure. But I totally agree with your TKO assessment of, like, even if TKO and WWE are not sure what's going on with Brock Lesnar right now, I ask everyone listening, did you feel like it was a big fight feel last night going into that match?
Oh, yeah. For me, it was.
Right. And TKO is not stupid either. Maybe they are. But
I was going to say, some fans might push back on that one.
Yeah. Okay, maybe they are. But
yeah,
they would have to be pretty naive to think that what they did on night one, how different it felt on night two with Brock and Oba coming out. It just felt completely different. And part of that equation is that Brock Lesnar feels different than other people. He's a big star. And to be able to put him back in another big spot against somebody like Gunther, people are going to watch, as you said. You're going to watch. The casual fan's going to watch. They have the ability to heat Gunther back up after they made a mistake. I know I don't trust the room as far as where they're going, but man, oh man, like, I just think that was their thought about Rey Mysterio. They still put, whether we like it or not, Braun Breaker, blah, 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 blah. They still put Gunther over on Seth Rollins, probably with the, okay, Gunther, we screwed this up, but we're going to reheat you up over the summer.
Can I ask the uncomfortable, but I think possibly necessary question when it comes to Brock Lesnar? And I've seen it thrown around, so I figured I'd just put it on the record. Do you think there's any possibility that he's doing this now because they sense some headway in the Janelle Grant stuff?
Yes.
And they want to get out of Dodge?
Yeah, of course. How could you not believe that that's, there's been more news. It's WrestleMania weekend, so if you're gonna drop any news, that's the weekend to do it because it's gonna get traction.
Yep.
But yes, if he is like, if this is gonna get worse as it goes along, I am going home, and I am not dealing with this stuff anymore.
Especially when there's a specific section that talks about her dealings with Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
In the whole complaint. So
yeah, so it's not even uncomfortable. It's a very real possibility that this is all based on that.
Yep.
From Brock Lesnar's point of view, regardless of whether TKO or WWE or anybody else, and we look at it from the wrestling point of view, this is a human being that probably doesn't want, either selfishly or whatever, to go through more stuff that's going to be uncomfortable for him. And he wants to go home to his farm in Saskatchewan and not deal with this. So yeah, I mean, it could be the only thing that matters.
Yep.
But it gave us another half-hour content to begin this show.
Yes, of course.
That was a lot on almost 40 minutes in.
I know, on the first match.
Talked about one match and it was 4:46.
it was the most interesting thing on the show for me personally. Not the best or
Okay,
you know what I mean, but interesting.
let's get to so then the 6-pack ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. Uh, this sparked already a little bit of controversy in the house that we were watching.
Yep.
Because on Netflix, and I don't know what happened on, because this was live on ESPN. So I don't know what happened on ESPN. Maybe you can tell me.
Mm-hmm.
But when they came back from all their commercials and Netflix, there was 3 guys in the ring.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's WrestleMania, man. Like,
yeah.
Dragon Lee, JD McDonough, and Rusev were already in the ring. And I don't know if they got entrances on ESPN and then it happened in the States as opposed to around the world. But around the world, we came back from commercial and we got 3 of the 6 guys in the ring. And immediately you're like, not that I thought that those guys are winning, but you're like, those guys have no chance.
Yeah.
Poor JD McDonough to me too. Like, he wrestled Finn Balor on Raw, didn't get an entrance, came back commercial, he's in the ring. WrestleMania, he doesn't get an entrance. Like, oh man. So then Rey Mysterio comes down, Javon Evans comes down, and then the champion in Penta comes down. You are the lover of the ladder match.
Oh, yes.
6 guys, 15 minutes. Penta retains the belt. What'd you think?
Objectively, I think it was a good ladder match. Objectively.
What?
Well, hold on. I'm not saying I enjoyed it. I'm just saying objectively, out of all the ladder matches.
Come on.
It's like,
I didn't expect Zach to turn like this.
I know. Well, look, I don't want to come on here every time there's a ladder match. It's like, you're not going to believe this, Lee, but there were so many spots in the ladder match. The guy fell off a ladder, and they did dives onto a ladder, then they climbed up a ladder, then fall off the ladder. I can't keep doing the same bit over and over again. I'll do that for other bits, but not this bit. The more that they do these ladder matches, the more I'm like, man, I don't know if I could keep up this bit much longer. So I will just say, I think this is an objectively good ladder match. I'm just tired of them. I'm just done. I was like, oh, I don't get the whoa factor from Javon Evans springboarding off and doing a cutter on a Rusev from the ladder. I just don't. I don't feel the same impact that others do. I said it with the AEW ladder match. I also think that's an objectively good ladder match, but you know, I'm just tired of ladder matches. I wish we could put a moratorium on ladder matches. There's an international decree where we pause the ladder match for like 5 years and then we could go back to doing ladder matches because it's just so overused.
Yeah. So what'd you think of Penta being the one to retain?
I mean, I was hoping Javon, but I'm not upset with Penta. I think it's clear. Again, this was to go back on my theme of how WWE views certain individuals. I don't think they view Javon Evans the same way we view Javon Evans. Because if they did, they would have put the belt on him on this ladder match, in my mind. Especially with the results of the other 2 guys, Oba, we've already talked about. That we were like, this is an opportunity to make a statement and say these are our guys. And they did not do that with Javon Evans during ESPN in a ladder match. Mm-hmm. And he had some of the biggest spots. And you might make the argument, well, he's still got a showcase. I'm not saying he's going to get buried underneath the card or anything like that. I just don't know if they view him as the big time star that we do.
Okay, I'll interject there and say, because this match was free on ESPN, and whether Javon Evans is your next guy or not in the category with Obafemi and Trick Williams, if people are watching in, and this is the difference in predicting this stuff, that they're going to do 2 matches live on ESPN before they go to their 4-match pay-per-view on Sunday night. They got a lot of the world tuning in for free and to try to make. Look, I think Penta's got a hell of a reach worldwide from his home country, from people around the world knowing who Penta is. And if they're watching, Penta is a bigger star than Javon Evans right now. And I know they could make Javon Evans, but I also think Javon Evans having his full entrance and only like the legend Mysterio, the champion Penta, and Javon Evans were the ones that had their entrance, to Javon Evans having a couple of big time spots in this that you would look back. Like that is the spot that I remember, whether Rusev for some reason kind of dove off of the ladder to get into.
Yeah. It was a little bit convoluted, but
like I have no idea what Rusev was doing other than trying to be in the right spot at the right time for Javon Evans to get there.
Yeah.
It was brought up in the house, like the Sammy Guevara, Cody spot that they did in AEW, which was so great, but they did it from the other angle. It's almost like they were trying to replicate that, but to do it, Rusev had to come off of the ladder and just be in this weird spot that he would never be in.
Mm-hmm.
So that took away a little bit, but it's still the spot I remember from the match the most. So Javon Evans got an entrance. He got the biggest spots. But if you're trying to cater to that free crowd that's in to go, this is a worldwide star. I understand Penta winning last night.
Mm-hmm.
If you were going to put the show on free TV, because you can still have people remember Javon Evans, and then you can push Javon Evans just to beat Penta for the Intercontinental Championship down the line here. You can still do that.
For sure.
So, yeah, I thought this was a good ladder match. I kind of feel the same as you. It's all the same. And that sucks for guys that are taking Mexican destroyers off one ladder to another ladder and the ladder not breaking. And you're like, are they dead? Like, why are you doing this? Like, what are you doing this for?
Yeah.
With all of these guys. I thought the Spanish Fly was great. That's the other one that I'm going to remember.
Yep. That's a good spot too.
With JD McDonough. I love that move though.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's done properly in a big spot, I think it's terrific.
Yep.
So I understand last night. I still think Javon Evans is going to be one of those guys. And I still think that they showcased him as much as they did the champion last night.
Yep. I think this, again, I don't want to say that it was obvious that they're keeping him in the lower mid card and going to be a job guy. I think he's going to have like a career. Like he's going to, I don't think they see him as on the level of an Obafemi and a Trick Williams.
Yep.
And we'll talk about that Trick Williams match in a moment. But I really don't think they like, because while I agree with you, he's still got a showcase in. If there was ever a spot, if they wanted to have him be put over, this was the spot.
Yeah. Okay.
And they like, you want to put the exclamation point on it, you have the guy win. And I know it's a very simple philosophy, but it's, look at how much it helped Obafemi beating Brock Lesnar clean, right? And like, we're already talking, like he went out on the post-game show and said, I want to face off against Roman Reigns before the end of the year. And that's a match now people are looking to talk about.
But here's the difference too. Like we have grouped these three in as the next big things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there is a difference. Trick Williams is 31 years old.
Yep.
Obafemi is 27 years old. I know that they're like still new within, what the WWE is presented and stuff. But Trick Williams is older than MJF. Or sorry, is he? They're the same age.
I think they're around this, either maybe a little older, but I understand the point you're making.
I'm looking it up now because I think they're born in the same year. So I don't want to say things, and people go, no. Nope.
He's about 2 years older. He's going to turn 32 in May.
Yeah.
And MJF
is older than MJF.
Yeah.
So, we think it's the next like they're the next big things and they're young because we haven't seen them. Like, so Trick Williams is 31, Obafemi's 27, John Evans is 21.
Yep.
So he's 10 years younger than Trick Williams. To not put him in the spot, like I picked him to win, I still think he should have won. I still think that's your next guy, but he can still be your next guy because the other two that we have grouped them in with as your next big stars are subsequently 6 and 10 years older than Javon Evans. This is a very young dude.
Yep.
Right? So to get him a little bit more experience and say, hey, what can you do in the ladder match at WrestleMania? And let's see how this progression goes, and just taking a little bit more time with him. I also understand compared to the other guys who are much older. Like 10 years older, Trick Williams to John Evans, that's a lot.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, speaking of Trick Williams, he wrestled last night.
He did. He certainly did. I watched a match last night between he and Sami Zayn, and for the U.S. Championship, and Lil Yachty was there. What's your favorite Lil Yachty song, Lee?
Well, that's my guy. That's my guy. He doesn't even know who you are. That's my guy.
Michael Cole over here.
I feel like Michael Cole. Michael, we kind of know he's not your guy.
Yeah.
He's
like,
not
I get what the joke is, but you know how WWE is with hammering the comedy, and we'll talk about that with one of the segments later.
Yeah.
But you know, that's the bit now. It's like Michael Cole's like, oh, it's J. Cole, that's my guy. Oh, Kendrick Lamar, that's my guy.
Yeah, I know.
We're buddies. Offset, we're big buds.
So Trick Williams beats Sami Zayn. Was this match like 7 minutes?
Yep.
It felt like a jobber match. Sami Zayn got music. Trick Williams got 100-foot. What do you call those things?
I was gonna call it like a receipt paper. It just kept rolling and
yeah. No, like a train.
Yes.
Sami Zayn got regular music coming out first as the champ. Trick Williams got he's the real guy we're here to see. I don't understand Lil Yachty being at ringside and influencing this match. I don't understand the concept of Trick Williams is our next guy and he's the baby face, but he's going to have this heel manager do things at ringside to cause Sami Zayn to lose, but we're going to pretend that that's a baby face thing and not a heel thing. And then we're not really going to have Trick Williams do all the things he can do in the ring with an incredible wrestler to do them with in Sami Zayn. We're just going to have Lil Yachty interfere. And we're going to have this one over in 7 minutes, and it's going to be great. This is the first part of the night where I'm like, it's a little bit back to Saturday. It's a little bit back to this does not feel like a WrestleMania match. It feels just like another match where the first two felt to me like, hey, we're back. It's WrestleMania. We're back.
It felt big. It felt like a WrestleMania. Yeah, I agree. And I think, in my opinion, it started a trend of the next couple of matches where I was really feeling it. But yeah, I mean, it was a 7-minute match. It wasn't going to knock your socks off. I'm still trying to figure out why the fans hate Sami Zayn now, and he's now getting compared to Hulk Hogan. I still don't understand that. I truly don't understand. Even Ethan Fink, who again was messaging me during the show, he is not a Sami Zayn guy. I doesn't like him. Don't understand why. Again, the man is a big WWE fan, but every wrestler, it seems like he just does not like other than Roman Reigns and Penta. So, like, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, really, this was just supposed to be the showcase match for Trick Williams. You can tell Trick Williams, I think this is who he is. I don't think he's going to get better in the ring at this point. We talked about he's 31. He's been in that WWE developmental system for a lot longer than people think. And I think this is who he is. But it is so clear that guy has charisma and has star look, and he has everything that in the stereotypical WWE look that the guys at WWE are looking for. So
So just
he won, and
so not to cut you off, but in the household last night, I heard different people talk about, and multiple people talk about that they didn't understand what Trick Williams was in NXT, but now that he's on the main roster, they get it and they understand that he's a big star.
yep,
I don't know if I truly believe that.
Mhm.
I'm kind of in between where I don't think they used him properly in NXT, and they probably kept him down there for a little bit too long. And, we're going to go with the old guys. And like, I do think he was kept down there too long. And I do think he's got the gift of gab where he's able to speak at a different level than some of the other guys.
Yeah.
But I also feel like you do. Like, he's a big star and there's moments and like he's a perfect WWE guy, but when he needs to get in, like he was in there with Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. And they gave a 7-minute match that is easily forgettable.
very forgettable.
And
But he's got everything else that they look for. Like, one of the new terms I'm enjoying that I'm hearing that people are talking about now when analyzing WWE guys is Trick. He's got a look. He can promo, as you mentioned, but he's also got a yeet, as they say. He's got a chant that people could get behind. People can get behind the whoop that trick.
Yep.
People love to whoop that trick. They whoop that trick all the time. He's spinning on his little, he's spinning on there. He's got the light shining down. He's got his hands up.
Yeah.
I can't wait for Unreal for Triple H, like trying to describe that entrance. And then you're going to stand on and you're going to put your arms out and then you're throwing a couple of swear words. And you're going to spin around. You're going to look like a damn star out there. Oh, I can't wait for him to really break down an entrance like that on Unreal. But yeah, I think he's got everything you're looking for except in-ring. And I don't know if the in-ring will ever come with Trick Williams. But they clearly see him as a guy that can move forward, and he beats Sami Zayn, an established guy. That's Sammy Hogan, that Hulk Hogan guy, losing on the undercard to Trick Williams. Oh, in a 7-minute match. Oh boy, what the modern day Hulk Hogan striking again. So get fired up. But yeah, I this was a very forgettable match.
And that's the thing. Final point on this is that when they're looking for stars, we care about the in-ring. I just don't think they do. And that's really sad.
Yep.
To me.
It is.
That it's become, you don't have to have both. And look, Oba's got a look and Oba's a star and this and that, but you're never going to get more than like 10 good minutes out of Oba Femi. And I don't know how long you can keep going on what you did last night with Brock Lesnar. You can't do that all the time.
No.
And see, Javon Evans, you can. And I think that you'll hopefully build towards that. But I just think sometimes they're losing the plot with that you can have both. And I think back in the day, they used to, like, they would have in the Attitude Era, right? But they also had decent wrestlers underneath. I think we're getting away from that in this company for sure, where I just don't think they care. Like, they don't care. So I'm with you. I don't know how invested I'm ever going to get in Trick Williams, because at some point for me, you got to get in there and have like a 20-minute, holy crap, that was really, really good. And then come out and talk about it and then be your star.
Yep.
But know that you can back it up. I don't think the newer wrestlers care to do that, because they've been told all along, if you want to make it in WWE, that's not the most important thing.
Whoop that trick, Lee. Whoop that trick.
I will not
Whoop
be.
that trick.
I will not be whooping that trick. Um, okay, my man. Let's get to my man, Dirty Dom, and the Demon, Finn Balor. Can we agree? I know you don't like Dom.
Mm-hmm.
The entrance was good.
Yeah. With the mask and the mask guys. Yeah. It's a good entrance.
He's coming in being treated like the mega champion that he is. I don't know what you call that, what he came in on, but it was a WrestleMania entrance as opposed to Sami Zayn just, hey, hit Sami's music. He's going out there. So I thought Dirty Dom's entrance was great. I'm eager to hear what you thought of the Demon's entrance and then what the match was. But Finn Balor does defeat Dominic Mysterio with a coup de grace through the table to beat Dominic.
Stunned there were no run-ins in this match. Stunned. I thought for sure we were getting some sort of Judgment Day involvement. And it was, I thought it was telling that initially this match was just announced as a straight up one-on-one.
Yeah.
Demon versus Dom Mysterio. But here's the thing, Lee. We were talking about, the wrestling, the in-ring not being as much of a priority in WWE. This Dominic Mysterio guy, he's not very good in the ring. So how do you hide a lot of his weaknesses in the ring? Do like a lot of his matches, put in a lot of smoke and mirrors. And in this case, you put him in a street fight where you don't have to have him do the collar and elbow tie up with the Demon. And he can just utilize the weapons. What I was worried about with the no holds barred match, which Michael Cole said was just hellacious and like unlike anything we had ever seen before in terms of violence. This one was what I was worried about in terms of kendo sticks and all the weapons you would find in a WWE hardcore match. And so
as soon as they brought the kendo stick out, I'm like, oh, Zach.
Yeah. Like, here we go, kendo stick. Have you ever been in a street fight and seen a kendo stick get pulled out in the middle of the street fight? You're in a deep, dark back alley and you're like, oh, I'm in a fight here. I got to get my fists up, and the guy whips out the kendo stick and you're like, oh, I'm screwed. This is not good for me.
I would use it if it were there, Zach, in a street fight, but I haven't been in a lot of back alleys.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't remember the Demon being this corny. I always thought of the Demon as like a war paint thing, as opposed to a totally. Maybe I have my WWE history wrong, but
cartoons on his back.
Yeah, all the cartoons that says just in case you forgot, that's the Demon, and the other guy with Dominic on the back, that's Dominic Mysterio. Just in case you forgot. So I didn't remember him being that corny. Like again, maybe my interpretation of it is wrong, but I always remembered the Demon thing being like a war paint and like going into war mentality. And that's why I liked the Demon at that time. But no, apparently it's a different character entirely, even to the point where Michael Cole on commentary was like, Finn, I mean, I should say Demon. I'm like, you don't have to say that. You don't have to, Michael. Like, it's not a totally different person. It's a little corny. And I didn't realize all the times that Finn was like putting his towel. He's like, I'm the Demon. I've got different colored pupils. And it was a little cornier than I remembered it. But I thought it was your very bang average, what you would see WWE street fight. Really didn't blow me away. And one of those matches that I'm probably going to forget about afterwards.
Yep.
Part of a streak of these matches.
Well,
but
to your point about this match, like about what the Demon is. So I agree with you. It's WrestleMania. Things are over the top as opposed to, even like a big NXT show, Black and Gold at the end of before when he came out as the Demon. everything's more exaggerated, but I agree with you. I thought it was corny. The one thing for me is like I thought the demon was this like real badass.
Yep.
And for most of this match, Dominic Mysterio controlled the match
Yes.
in 10 minutes and 30 seconds. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, you're the demon. Shouldn't you be the one kind of controlling a lot of the match? It just seemed like he was the typical good guy that comes out, cool entrance, but then he's going to get beat up for 8 of the 10 minutes, but then he's going to find a way to win at the end.
Yeah.
Like the good guys do. And it's like, that's not what the demon is. I like both of these guys. I thought this was like, I thought it was good. Like, I guess my enjoyment level of the match, it did everything it needed to do for me with those two guys, but it's not like it was great. The Trick Williams, Sami Zayn one was not good. This brought it back a little bit. You had a couple of big entrances. I still don't love that they made it a street fight at the last second, and then nobody interfered, or like, not that I want people interfering. I'll talk about that in a minute, but
Yep.
It's like I didn't really know what the reason was. Like Roman Reigns threw stairs at CM Punk in a match that does have rules and it's not a street fight. Like, you still could have done all of this stuff. Nobody would have cared.
Yeah.
And so to make it a street fight, is it just the protection of Dom at the last minute? And if you knew that this match was going to go on, you probably could have installed the stipulation right before to go, it's a street fight. Okay. I thought this one was okay, but forgettable. Like,
Yep.
I won't remember it and go back and watch it. But when I was watching it, I was entertained by the entrances, and the match was just okay. I thought Dominic controlled too much of the match for the demon character. If that was Dominic versus regular Finn Balor, okay. But it's not. It's the demon. It's special. It's a badass, and he just got beat up by Dominic for most of the match.
Yeah. The result made sense to me in the sense that, you know, the babyface wins the end at WrestleMania. That all made sense to me. But like what you said, and it's kind of the WWE experience. You get your cool entrances, and then you get a okay to average to sometimes good match, and
yep.
And then there you go. And then you're in and out, and then you get inundated with 20 minutes of ads and promos and spots and all that. So,
all right. Well, Rhea Ripley, Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's Championship followed. Where do you want to start?
I don't really have much to say on this match either. So, I mean, this is you know, 3 of the matches here. Like the first 2, I was like, you know what? Even if I'm not a ladder match guy, like I thought that was an objectively good ladder match. And then the first match hit my taste. And then this stretch, this to me, like it all just continues to confirm that they have no faith in Jade Cargill to extend out a lengthy match, because they had this was where the run-ins came in. And I will say though, in the finishing stretch there where transition into the pump handle, I thought it was really good. I thought it was actually like a really smooth transition.
It's a great counter to, now the Riptide move sucks.
Yep.
And I thought Jay did not do a very good job at helping Rhea do anything in this match. I thought she was kind of dead weight in a lot of spots that made Rhea look not great. And the Riptide move, she just needs another move.
Yeah.
Like it's not for Rhea Ripley, and as big of a star as she is, she needs another move. But I do agree with you. The transition was nice. The counter was nice into it. There was some people in the house that thought that Io Sky was going to come down and turn on Rhea Ripley, and Jade Cargill was going to retain, which I understand the thought process of that. But then I'm like, so then you got Io and Rhea in a feud, not for the title, and who are you putting against Jade for the title?
Yeah.
And what kind of match is that ever going to be? Like, you need to get it back on Rhea. She's the biggest star. Right? When she came out, like she's a massive star.
Yeah, very clearly a big star.
And Jade just can't, she's not up to that level. And you know what the big thing is, especially for Rhea now, she's very believable. It's like, even if Rhea's not that character at home, do you believe that that's Rhea Ripley when she comes out? Yeah, like I do. It's like, yeah, this is who she is. When Jade Cargill comes out, you're like, there's nothing about this character that I believe. It looks like you're trying to be a wrestler instead of actually just being one. To me, like, we're telling you all the things to do, so go out there and do them. But you don't believe it, so then we don't believe it. I don't have a lot of use for Jade Cargill. I can't believe this went 10 minutes. I'm glad Rhea won. Io comes down, gives a little help. I don't think she needed the help. I would have liked kind of Io to come down to congratulate her afterwards, because to me it looked a little bit more dominant if Rhea Ripley had just beat. Like, come on. Like, Mishin and BFAB are interfering in the second last match of WrestleMania. Come on.
Right.
Like, and like Rhea Ripley, and she's a big star, so she doesn't necessarily need Io Sky, but I wish she just had to beat everyone on her own. That's all.
Yep.
But it's the right result. Maybe we get a Rhea Io dissension. They wrestle. I don't know. But I do know that Rhea Ripley being the champion gives me a lot more hope than Jade Cargill being the champion.
Yeah. It was pretty clear there was a spot where Io was doing the moonsault to the outside and Jade was coming in to do the big boot that Io would miss, but the timing was so off. And you could just see it when Jade Cargill wrestles. Like, the big thing we always mention when it comes to newer wrestlers when they come in is you can tell that they're trying to think of the next spot. Right. And you could just see it in their eyes, like, all right, this spot's done. I got to go to the next spot. I got to go to the next spot. When the beauty of wrestling is that you're able to make it naturally look like it's part of the ebb and flow of the match. And Jade Cargill just has not figured that out, of just being able to go, this is the next spot. I can naturally transition to it. Always seems like she's thinking about the next spot. And it's just continues to be abundantly clear. And so I think it's some, again, similar with Trick, where I think this is who Jade Cargill is in ring and her character. I don't know. I don't see any sort of improvement coming at this point of her career.
So at that point, I think we all looked at our watches and clocks and phones and go, like 8:50.
Yeah.
I got one more match left. Like, what? I think it was even before that.
Oh, before we even get to the main event, totally forgot about this, and I should mention it. How about that random guy at commentary? Like, they just introduced a guy during the Jade Cargill Rhea Ripley match,
and we looked him up.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I'm glad, because I also looked him up too.
Yeah, he's a billionaire.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? And they're putting it off like he won a contest.
Yeah, something.
He's a billionaire.
He bought his spot beside commentary.
He didn't win a contest. And then, second of all, Wade Barrett said, finally, we got a better commentator or something than Michael Cole, like doing the joke, but he didn't even have a headset on.
No,
like
he just had the earphones. Yeah, but there was no mic.
No mic. Like, we're not hearing from this dude.
Yeah. He's just sitting there. They introduced him, and
I don't know who he is. You look him up. He's a billionaire. I'm like, what the hell are they doing? There's just a guy.
They really will sell anything.
Yes.
They really will.
That's insane.
Again, which makes it even more insane that they did not sell like an advertising spot on Bianca Belair's stomach after her pregnancy announcement. It really is stunning. But yeah, I mean, I saw the jokes comparing it to like Art Donovan at King of the Ring back in '94, where he's just like, Now, our Donovan was more like, he just kept saying the same things. Like a guy would come out, like, how much does this guy weigh? Oh, I'll tell you, Art, he's, 280. What about that guy? How much does that guy weigh? And then they just like completely ignored him as the show went on. And like he would say stuff and then they would just completely ignore Art Donovan. So.
Well, I'm not going to ignore Danhausen.
Oh, yes.
And The Miz and Kit Wilson, John Cena. I can call them midgets because they were emphatic that they were going to call them midgets.
Yes, Michael Cole was like, it was just hilarious. It's like, oh my God, they're midgets. And then Wade Barrett's like, whoa, I don't know if you could say that, Michael. It's like, they told me I could say that, midgets. And I'm like, okay, well, don't say it so emphatically though. Like,
so what did you think of this entire scene with Dan?
Painfully unfunny. It was one of those moments when you're watching, is like, I hope nobody walks into the room and then I have to explain it. And they're like, why are all these people? Look, I don't want to explain this because you know how it is when a non-wrestling fan comes into the room.
Yep.
Because they assume you know what's going on because you're the wrestling fan. And you're like, look, I'm just as lost as you are. Okay. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm lost. And so I'm sitting there. I'm like, John Cena's doing the announcement, right? It's like, here comes the Miz and Kit Wilson. I'm like, all right, we're going to do the Danhausen spot. What are they going to do? And I told you weeks ago, I'm out on Danhausen. As soon as Magic was incorporated, I'm like, I'm out. I'm good. I don't need, him setting off a pyro in the corner and then knocking Kit Wilson off of the corner. I don't need, that sort of stuff. Or the referee, like his shoulder, like he physically can't put his shoulder down because of the curse. So of course they had all these little people dressed up as Danhausen coming up, and as you do, as we all expected, and they all formed a little line, and both figuratively and literally.
Yeah.
And Danhausen's like, John Cena, I have something to say to you. I'm Danhausen. And then he's like, good to see you, Mr. Cena. And Cena's trying to do the smile, but Cena in his mind's like, I'm a Hollywood actor now. I am literally above this. Like, I can do other things. And he tried to play it off. And then, he cursed people. And then I just sat there. I'm like, this is painfully unfunny. And Michael Cole was absolutely unbearable in this segment. I'm like, shut up. Stop talking. And they're trying to do the snort laughs. Like, they're really trying to, like, play it up like, oh, this is so funny. This is what you expect in WWE. Ooh, this is so funny. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, this is why I don't tell people I'm a wrestling fan. Like, this is why I don't tell people this. And I just keep it to myself. And then I wait for them to give an opening to say they're a wrestling fan. And then it's like, oh, you're a wrestling fan. And then we can coordinate from there. Like, this is why I avoid telling people I host a wrestling podcast, because
that's not the promoter.
No, it's not a great energy. No, I know, but like, it's not great energy. It's like, wow, you break stuff like that down, like I'm like, yes, I do. In fact, we dedicate a lot of time to it. I don't want to do that, Lee. I'm good. I want to tell people other things that say I covered this segment. So no, I thought this sucked. I will genuinely say, if you found this funny, get better taste. Watch some real comedy. And, it sounds mean, but it's true. And, it sucked. I don't know what else to say. I'm out on that Danhausen. So I
will come in a little bit. I won't say in between, but I'll give, I think Danhausen is, like, after the disastrous debut for him, that people just want to, like, scrap aside. And it's like, you got a funny guy there. And I think he's shown in these smaller clips backstage that he's funny.
Yep.
Or entertaining is probably the better word. I've enjoyed Danhausen in the small bits after the disastrous debut until last night, where then he had to come out. I don't know if it's funny when he came out and he's driving and they're all like running behind. I think I probably chuckled,
Mhm.
but after that, it's like, what are they going to do? And when they put this guy in like longer bits of time, it becomes less funny to me.
Yeah.
So I think they've done a pretty good job since the debut of putting him in the right spots to be an entertaining comedic part of the show without it being a full segment
Yeah.
of a show. And last night was a bigger segment with John Cena and The Miz and Kit Wilson and the midgets, and they all got to get their stuff in. And it's like, okay, like this is not for me what I enjoy either. And it's so funny you say that because I had that feeling. I wasn't in a room last night that I had to explain it.
Mhm.
And I think there are other people that liked it. I don't know, but
How?
no, but you're right. Like if somebody had walked in at that moment, well, what do I say to them? Like,
Yeah.
this is what you told me is WrestleMania and Sunday night, and this is what you were waiting for the entire time. Like,
Yeah.
how do you explain it away?
Wrestling gets caught up so many times. I always see it, and even my colleagues, where there's like wrestling, you could do anything in wrestling, right? You could do anything. It's the world's your oyster in pro wrestling, what you could do. But we sometimes forget just because you can do that doesn't mean you should do that, right? Like, yes, you can have little people dressed up as Danhausen and Danhausen come out in his own specialized vehicle and have a segment with Kit Wilson and The Miz. You can do that. Should you do that? No, you shouldn't do that. And then you sit there and wonder, why don't more people watch wrestling? I don't understand. Why can't we attract a casual audience? Because of stuff like this,
Right.
where you have to explain it to the people. It's like, why is he? Look, I don't know. I'm just as lost as you are. The guy. So yeah, that was the segment. And then Cena afterwards, like, retirement life is great, and like the big thumbs up afterwards, like he's Tony the Tiger. And I was like, all right, and Cena internally is like, please get me back to the movie shoot. Please get me back to the movie shoot. I'm just here because I respect WWE, but I'm just going to move on.
All right. So let's get to the main event. It's Roman Reigns and CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. And right back into, like, I can only imagine what Roman Reigns was thinking backstage. Like, he's going to go out in 5 minutes, but Danhausen's out there with midgets right before him. This got me right back to big fight feel. And when Roman Reigns came out, this is the match that I was looking forward to the most. And I'll stand by that all the time. I'm glad that other people enjoyed Obafemi and Brock Lesnar. But for me, this one felt like, okay, these guys have been around. When Roman Reigns comes out, he just feels like a massive star. And it's at a very different level when he's out there. Loved his entrance. They've had to do some different things, right? He's been in the main event 11 years. They pushed that very, very hard. Hulk Hogan was only in 8. Like, oh, Michael.
Yeah.
Yes, the year that somehow Hogan got the main event with Sid Justice, even though Macho Man and Ric Flair were wrestling for the world title in the middle of the card.
Yes. Correct. And that was the year, like, people wanted Hogan Flair, but they got so spooked by a couple of house shows.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we can't do Hogan Flair. It's because of 2 house shows. Like, you can't do Mania. Like, and I've heard Bruce Pritchard explain that. It's like, well, these are the house shows.
But I bring that up because we're going to get to that point after we talk about this match. But so Roman Reigns comes out, and then I thought a great entrance for CM Punk. They get him on top of the arena with the helicopter. I thought that was awesome. They catch him behind. He almost had like a pre-walkout music before his music hit. They had some downtime where they had no music. And he was out there. He had the jacket with, unfortunately, some people who have passed away that were close to WWE. Man, when these two guys came out, I'm like, okay, like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm in.
Yep.
And they got me back in. It felt like I've been waiting for this to me, all weekend long to feel like this. I like CM Punk. I think I like him not as much as I liked him before. I don't think Roman Reigns is the best wrestler ever, but he has an aura. He's got a big fight feel to him. And I'm finally going to get something where I don't know what's going to happen. And it's two guys that are going to go out there and entertain me. And I'm not trying to throw shade on the Oba family Brock Lesnar stuff, but it's going to be more than 5 minutes.
Oh,
And I didn't expect Oba and Brock to be more, but I wanted more. I'll let you go wherever you want to go in this match, but man, I thought this was good. I thought this was so good, and a great way to cap off the weekend, because this is one for me that I'm going to remember. Like this was not a great WrestleMania weekend. In fact, I think when it stacks up to all the other WrestleManias, we'll see where we put it. But this match, if they didn't have this one, I don't know what we'd be saying about this weekend. Roman Reigns defeats CM Punk in 33 minutes and 40 seconds for the World Heavyweight Championship. No interference, no shenanigans. Just two guys going in there. I thought they told a really good story. I thought they got about halfway through and they're starting to hit some finishers. And I'm like, oh boy, where are they going to go from here? They're going to be able to hold the next 10 or 15 minutes. I thought they did. This was as good as I possibly thought that I could get from Roman Reigns and CM Punk in the ring at the same time. CM Punk is older. He's 47 years old now. He's always had that like gift of gab, and he's felt like a big moment guy, but I don't necessarily go back and think of all of the 5-star CM Punk matches that are lining up. He's not that guy. Man, I thought this was really, really good. And like a savior of the weekend. In my opinion, a savior of the weekend for the WWE, and just relying on the fact that Zach, and I'm going to put this over and let you go to wherever you want to go with this, but how about two guys that were just going to let them go out there, and they are big stars already, and they saved our ass? Like, this was not the WWE putting everything into Roman Reigns and Roman Reigns benefiting from the massive push that he has got going into this year's WrestleMania. He just carries himself in a way that the WWE doesn't have to do very much. And the best thing they ever did was get out of his way. And for CM Punk, same thing. Just get out of their way and let them do what they can do. And they proved that without a big push behind them, like, this was nothing that the WWE did to make this a better match. This was two really big, massive stars in the wrestling industry going up against each other. And the smartest thing they ever did was just get out of their way and let them go. I really, really like this match. Not a lot wrong with it as far as what Roman Reigns, I think, can do, what CM Punk can do, and the fact that the WWE stayed out of it and just let them go and did what they wanted to do. So Roman Reigns is your new world heavyweight champion. And I thought this was awesome and what I'm going to remember from WrestleMania weekend.
I think you're higher on this than I am, but I did like this main event. This was easily the best match of the weekend. I can definitely agree with you on that. The entrances, the thing that with WrestleMania is you always felt like when you're watching WrestleMania that no matter what the match is, no matter how it was played out, You still felt like I've watched one of the biggest shows in all of professional wrestling, from the pageantry to everything. And that had been lacking for a lot of this weekend, I thought.
Yep.
And this kind of felt like, okay, this is the big fight feel, WrestleMania main events, 4-night 2. The entrances were there. CM Punk brought back Miseria Quinter, just like he came out to in Reign of Honor many years ago, and he made the appearance with it in AEW a few years ago. They used it for a video package for him before he was coming out for his entrance, as you mentioned, with the entrance jacket. And so that set a tone. Roman coming back to his old heel theme music was interesting. And then the match itself, I thought this was a very good match. I don't know if I'm as high on it as you are, but because there were still there were still elements of the WWE main event formula that annoy me.
Like what?
Well, you had the trading of finishers in the match. It's like, like Punk delivered a pretty bad Superman punch in this. And I'm like, man, like, I don't know why they keep having Punk try to do these things, whether it be back in AEW doing the buckshot lariat, or in this case, the Superman punch. Mm-hmm. He's just not that kind of athlete to be able to do that sort of stuff. And I've noticed more, like, I still think, again, the brain is absolutely still there for Punk, obviously, when it comes to putting a match together. But the more the years kind of go on, the more he's showing, yeah, he's 47. And he was not exactly Herschel Walker as an athlete. So, but I think it's especially prevalent that he's not that athletic right now. Having said all of that, like, there was things like that with the training of finishers. There were still the announcer table spots, which I mentioned on night one, where it's like they just can't, they seem to love those kind of spots. But having said that, I thought the work between each other was very good. I thought, again, I felt like I was watching a big time main event. I thought this was the best of a WWE main event, having said all of that. So, I love that there was no run-ins. I love that it was clean. And like what you said, I love that they just let these two guys go out there and do their thing. And there was very limited WWE involvement, where it's like, I've said a lot with road agents, it felt like that they were trying to, show why they have their jobs in a lot of cases. Mm-hmm. In this case, it was just, let's let these guys go. These two are professionals. They are main events. They know what they're doing. Let's let them do it. And they were able to do that. And this is going to be one of those high-level WWE matches that people will look back on at the end of the year. As if you're somebody that just watches WWE, this is probably going to be a lot of people's match of the year. I saw some people saying this is going to go in the pantheon of all-time WrestleMania matches. I don't think this is one of those.
Okay, so I'm going to stop you here, because one of the questions I did want to ask you, because I saw it last night and I ended up looking it up afterwards, and I think it's a relevant discussion.
Yep.
Regardless of how you or I feel about it, I think it's a relevant discussion. And I'll ask it like this. Was this in the top 3? I'm trying to word it properly. Was this in the top 3 WrestleMania main events of all time?
I don't think so.
Okay. I do need to hear, and I'm kind of hitting you with this.
Yep.
Like, and you not necessarily have the list in front of you, but mm-hmm. When we talk about main events, it's like the last match on Sunday. It's not any match that ever happened at WrestleMania. But I started to go back and go, you know what? Main events haven't been
amazing.
They haven't been amazing.
Yep.
Like at WrestleMania. And just to take you through the first few, you had Hogan and Mr. T against Roddy Piper and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. WrestleMania 2, Hogan and Bundy. You had a Hogan and the Giant. WrestleMania 3, and Andre.
Yep.
Savage and DiBiase 4. Savage and Hogan 5. Warrior and Hogan 6. Hogan and Slaughter 7. Hogan and Justice 8. Hogan and Yokozuna 9. Bret Hart and Yokozuna 10. Lawrence Taylor and Bam Bam Bigelow 11.
Yep.
The Iron Man match, Michaels and Bret Hart 12. Undertaker and Sid 13. So I think people are starting to get the idea. They're like, yeah, probably none of those matches.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, the spectacle of Hulk and Andre at WrestleMania 3.
And to an extent, the spectacle of Hogan Warrior as well, in terms
Yeah,
of like,
for sure.
that was the best matches of those guys' careers in some cases.
But
So.
and people always like, oh, WrestleMania 6, Hogan and Warrior. That's when I became a wrestling fan. Like, it was title versus title. It was my favorite against the other guy's favorite. And I get all that. But I'm talking about like the matches. Like the actual sit down and watch the matches and go, yeah, that was a great match. I think I bought you a little bit of time here. How many?
I'm looking through some of the matches here as well, some of the main events.
I think there's one that I go, yeah, that match is probably the best match in WrestleMania main event history. And that's an important when I say main event. So like Savage Steamboat, incredible match that people remember from WrestleMania 3, wasn't the main event. Some of the great, Mr. WrestleMania, Shawn Michaels matches were not main events. I would put Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, though, from WrestleMania 26 up as probably the best main event match ever. That would be my call. I'd probably put The Miz beating,
I was going to say, hold on there, brother. Don't try and sneak that one by me, brother.
Okay, I would be eager to hear, like I said, top 3 main events ever.
Yep.
I'd be eager to hear that you had 3 that were way better than that one.
Top 3. So as I'm looking through the list, for me right away, I think Triple H, Benoit, Shawn Michaels, while it's not going to be remembered for obvious reasons, I think that was the better match than this match.
Really?
Yeah, I thought that match, especially the spectacle at the end of Benoit winning. Again, we know why they won't showcase that.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's not the point of this.
Yeah.
The point is the actual match.
Yes. So that triple threat match, I thought was like, that's one of the best triple threat matches I've ever seen personally. It's a favorite of mine.
Okay.
Brock and Austin, WrestleMania 17, while the heel turn wasn't great, the actual match itself, I thought, was probably the best of their trilogy and a great way to end off a legendary pay-per-view in WrestleMania 17. Which was funny. If you notice in the pre-show, I know you're not watching the WWE pre-shows because nothing happens, but they were trying to.
We did turn it on because I had a very pro WWE crowd that got here early. And I was like, oh man, I gotta turn on this.
I got to put on the pre-show.
I got to turn on this YouTube thing.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
But they were trying to, like, we talk about WrestleMania 17 as the greatest WrestleMania of all time. Like, what are they trying to do here? Why are they bringing up WrestleMania 17? There's a lot of Vince mentions in that too. But I thought that WrestleMania 17 match between Rock and Austin is a better match than this. But you are right, though. As I look through these main events, I'm like, some of these matches really didn't, some of these main events really didn't hit for me.
And I think, so that's the point I'm trying to get to, regardless of where we put it. I think if you're listening right now and go back and you're like, how could Lee say that? Or, no, I totally agree with Lee and I don't know why Zach is, go back and get your list and tell me what you think is, like, how many matches in the main event, the last match that they showed, were better than that match. I'd like to listen. You'd like to listen to the response from people on what they would think. Because when I went back and looked at it, I remember vividly The Rock and Austin at 17. I went back and watched some of that match last night. I don't look at that match the same way I looked at it back then.
Interesting.
And I don't think it holds up with those guys as much as, like, to be in that, it's the greatest WrestleMania main event of all time. I don't think it holds up into that. Undertaker and Shawn Michaels to me is number 1, and it's not even that close.
Yeah. And that's not even their best match at Mania.
No, I know it's not. I know.
Yeah.
And this isn't a discussion on what's the best WrestleMania match of all time. It's
Yep.
the main event.
Yep.
Because keep going back, and when they have big stars, they put them there, right? So
Yep.
it's a lot of John Cena's.
Yep.
It's a lot of Roman Reigns. It's
I
a
will
lot of
say
Hulk Hogan's.
the Cena Shawn Michaels match is a very good match. But it is battling out for me between that and the CM Punk
Right.
and Roman Reigns match. But that's a very good match that I think is in the upper echelon. And I also see Brock and Kurt Angle. And while yes, it did have the botch shooting star press in that match, the overall match itself was I love that Brock Angle series back then on SmackDown. So those are like it is very interesting when you put it in the main event conversation and you look at some of these main events. I think it really kind of puts in perspective. It's like,
Yeah.
in terms of in-ring work, like I can't really disagree with a lot of it there. So
You go through it even lately, right? Like,
yep.
Even in the Roman Reigns era,
Yep.
Of Roman Reigns beating Triple H or Seth Rollins coming in afterwards and the heist of the century. It's like that match wasn't that great before the heist of the century. You remember the heist of the century.
Yep.
Roman Reigns and The Undertaker, not good. Brock and Roman, and then you had the women that the botch at the end, and it's 1 o'clock in the morning. And I'm not faulting them, but it's just not one of those elite level matches.
No.
You had the cinematic match with Undertaker and AJ Styles. Or that was night one, sorry.
Yes.
And Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar, that was not very good. You had Roman Reigns stacking Edge and Daniel Bryan, and
that's an underrated match. I actually really like that match. I'm not even an Edge guy, but like,
yeah, no, okay.
It was a good match.
I agree. I think last night's was a little bit better, and that's my only point. Is that we don't have to keep talking about this. We'll hear from people, and we'll talk about it in other episodes. But I'm just trying to put this match in context and not be biased. And I get recency bias is tough because we all come off of it and go, oh, okay. And when we settle down after a month or a year and look back on it, maybe it's a little bit different. I think this match is helped a lot by the experience of the rest of the card.
Yes.
That if this match is there, but you also had 3 or 4 match of the year contenders and it's WrestleMania and it's like this incredible 2-night extravaganza that you have to tell people you need to go back and watch this WrestleMania card as a whole. Maybe the match comes across a little bit differently at that point. But this is one of the worst WrestleManias in a long time. I think they recovered a great deal last night from what they did on Saturday. It almost feels like 2 different shows. Yep. But at the same time, before they got to the main event, in 3 hours of time, there was 48 minutes of wrestling.
Crazy.
Right? And that was the better night. That was the night that everybody that I was watching with was like, oh, this is so much different than night number 1. And it felt different for sure. It was
a better night. Absolutely.
It was a better night. But going into the main event, there was 48 minutes of wrestling in the ring and 3 hours had ticked by.
Yeah.
So was it like, and the biggest fight feel, the biggest thing they did, the biggest thing that people would have been talking about until they got to the main event was a 4-minute and 46-second match.
Yep.
So I loved the match. I loved everything about it. And it doesn't hurt Punk at all. Does Punk go away? AJ Lee's going to go away, it looks like, for a bit. Does Punk go away for a bit too? Have some time off and come back whenever he's ready, maybe. Roman Reigns at the end saying, Zach, that, none of this part-time crap. He used another word, but none of this part-time crap. I'm here all summer long. I think that was very good for him to go out and say, so people didn't think that.
Yeah.
and then the Oba chant started.
I did get a kick out of it a little bit though, because like, we're done with this part-time crap, as you mentioned. It's like, all right, he's gonna be showing up on Raw. I'll be here for the summer. It's like, okay, well, you're still kind of part-time because you're not here for the
all summer long.
Yeah, I know what he meant, but like, you know, but you're gonna put that out there. It's like, oh, he's gonna be on next week. Let's go.
He'll be on tonight.
Like, he'll be on tonight, but I mean like every other week. Like, he's gonna be showing up in Providence, Rhode Island, defending that belt, you know.
Maybe not. Maybe not Providence, but
yeah. Spokane, Wisconsin.
Spokane's in Washington, not
Spokane, Washington,
not in Wisconsin. Come on.
But you know what I mean.
No,
like,
you're
like nobody has thought about Spokane until now, and I was like,
you're going to prove to me actually that you look it up that there is a Spokane, Wisconsin, with 600 people somewhere, and
no,
okay,
there's no Spokane, Wisconsin. Spokane, Washington.
Okay,
was not great at geography.
All right, so overall, you would say better night.
Yes,
I would. The night number one.
Absolutely.
So if we judge this separately, how do we feel about Sunday Night WrestleMania Night 2?
As its own show, separately from night one, and I just look at it and I pretend night one didn't exist. I thought this was a average show, saved by a good main event. I thought the opener was strong in terms for my taste. And if you like the ladder match, you're probably going to really like the show more. But I've said my piece about ladder matches, so I'm not going to repeat it. And then the main event, but everything in between was just, I thought very dry. So I think it's funny. It's funny with WWE fans, Lee. As soon as you give them something borderline decent, they go out there, they parade this like they saved pro wrestling and the business is saved and this is an all-time great show. And I'm like, you got a decent show. Like, it's not, you know, it was all right. It in the pantheon of WrestleManias, this is going to be one of them. You know, like, this is not going to be like, maybe in terms of the main event for some, like it might be a legendary main event for some. Not like, I thought it was a good main event. I didn't love it as much as others did, but I think this will be, in terms of night two, I thought it was a decent, like, bang average show.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I think it was saved by the main event.
Yep.
Yes, they had the spectacle at the beginning with Oba and Brock, but it was short. It was helped out by Brock. Like, if Oba just beats Brock and they go to the back, we're not talking about the same as Brock leaving all of his crap in the ring and retiring and like, so it felt a little bit more like WrestleMania last night, which was good.
Yep. I felt like I was watching a WrestleMania. Night one, I'm like, what is this? This is just WrestleMania name and the look of it and the presentation of the feel. That's why I called it the worst WrestleMania, because it's like, oh, but you know, this match was on WrestleMania 9 and you're going to like, no, I'm looking at it as an overall package, because at least with WrestleMania 9, WrestleMania 11, I still felt like those were WrestleMania shows, even if they were in arenas, or in this case with WrestleMania 9, it was Caesar's parking lot, you know, like that for WrestleMania 9. But in this case, it was just for night one, it just felt like I was watching something that was not WrestleMania. It was just by name, no energy, wrestlers working at half speed. Like, that's why I didn't like it. This one felt a lot more like, all right, this is WrestleMania. I'm watching, you know, the granddaddy of them all, as they say, the spectacle, you know, all the immortals fight and blah, 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 right? All the taglines they like to throw at WrestleMania. I truly felt like I was watching that yesterday. But as an overall package, I still think if you include night one and night two, I think you got an average to decent WrestleMania. So it really kind of emphasized to me the 2-night thing is going to be a bit of a struggle over the next little bit if this is the quality that we're going to be getting the next couple of years.
Especially with the massive breaks in between with the commercials and everything that they do. Again, so last night's run total gets somewhere in the hour 25 range. And now you're talking about not hitting 3 hours over the 2-night 8-hour time period.
Yep.
That's insane. And when I look back on it, I would go, I really enjoyed the main event. I think it saved it. But this is WrestleMania. And you want to provide 8 hours and tell me that there's going to be less than 3 hours of actual wrestling in the 8 hours?
Right.
What are we doing for 5 hours watching WrestleMania? That's not WrestleMania. That's not, tuning into the biggest card ever. And then the other thing I wanted to bring up, and we got into a little bit of I would say a disagreement last night.
Oh,
So there were some. Well, there was one edgy person.
Adam
we're-
Copeland was in the building. Whoa.
So we started having the debate because now there's an argument between run-ins and interference, and like I was talking about run-ins like they were interference, and there was discussion about the run-ins being separate from regular interference. We did praise the AEW show because they didn't have almost any interference or shenanigans in their last pay-per-view.
Yep.
I'm very grateful that they didn't have any shenanigans in the main event of this one. It's why it's up there for me as one of the best WrestleMania main events ever.
Yep.
Because it was 33-40 of two big stars with nothing but them. Which for me in the WWE at this point, I'm going to take it and hold on to it for dear life because I know I'm not going to get it very much. But let's go through it. We had interference with Nikki Bella right in front of the referee, hitting somebody with a crutch twice to cause them to win the tag team belts. That's interference number one. We had Braun Breaker come in the Gunther Seth Rollins. That's number two. We had Judgment Day, Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez come in the Liv Morgan match. I don't even want to talk about Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, but we had Pat McAfee twice. And I was getting the argument that like some of these don't count because like Nikki Bella was already at ringside. Why? She's not wrestling. She's not a manager. Like, why is she there? She can introduce Paige, but why does she get to come to ringside and hit somebody with a crutch? And like, that is interference to me. Like,
well, yeah, because it is interference. Yes.
Listen, there were people that didn't think that was interference because she's just involved in the match. And I'm like, she's not involved in the match. Anyway, it got a little heated. So, so there on night one, there was no interference in the Usos' vision. They didn't have time, did they? In 7 minutes with six guys
there's no interference
to be able to do it. But you're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4 matches on night one. And then you had Lil Yachty, again, being the reason that Trick Williams won, even though he's supposed to be a big star. So that's 5. And then you had in the Rhea Ripley, Jade Cargill match, you had B-Fab and Mishin. And so that's 6. 6 of 13 by my count that I can remember had other people involved in the matches and not just the people. How do you feel about that number?
Shockingly lower than I expected for WWE, but it's still a lot.
It's still a lot to me. Yeah, I guess like it's lower
for WWE. Just to be clear, shocking lower for WWE, but still a lot.
It's still too much for me in WrestleMania. That's all.
Yep. Especially WrestleMania.
I want WrestleMania to be the finale, the season finale, the
granddaddy of them all, Lee.
But I mean that when I say like we're just going to get the people that are involved in the match, and it's going to be the blow off. It's going to be we're finally just going to get them in the ring and see who wins, and then we'll move on.
Yep.
Is this still one of the worst WrestleManias of all time? After night 2, looking back on it and now grouping them together as a final thought?
If I were to put it together, I would not put it in the category of 9 or 11 or 27. Because I think WrestleMania 27 was also a bad show. But I think this is still going to be on the lower end of WrestleManias. This is certainly not on the upper end. I think we could both agree on that in terms of the WrestleManias that we watch. If we were to put it all together, if I think this is still kind of on the lower end of the Mania shows. And I can tell you, you know how I know this is on the lower end of WrestleMania shows? We have not mentioned the name Hunter Hearst Helmsley in the entirety of our reviews of WrestleMania.
He never came out.
Never came out. He was nowhere to be found. Couldn't find him with a searchlight. Usually that guy, when things are going great, he's front and center and he's right there. He's like, I'm the guy that booked this. But he was nowhere to be found on any of the post-game shows for WrestleMania, nowhere to be found on the actual WrestleMania shows. I think that's indicative of how they view TKO this show as well. That Triple H was like, look, I don't want to be associated with this. I'm just going to be in the background, let John Cena be the guy that does all the on-air stuff. So,
or is that just a bigger wedge between Triple H and TKO? And maybe, I know like this is the Road Dogg, but the Road Dogg said a couple of weeks ago that Triple H was going to be fired after WrestleMania.
That would be something.
But
that would be like breaking news audio if he got fired.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think it's in the lower tier. I think it got saved a little bit by being a better night 2 than night 1. Night 1 was a disaster. Night 2 was back up because the actual talents, not because of the WWE and the way that they did it. It's to me because Roman Reigns and CM Punk are, 2 of the top guys to ever do it. And they just went in there to do what they do. It wasn't because somebody helped them do it.
Yep.
That's all. All right, Zach, another long edition, but great edition. Great WrestleMania weekend. Fantastic coverage. Thank you for everything. I know we got a lot of great feedback on the Connections episode again last night and how great you were in that. It was awesome.
Great is comparative to that in that case, but yes.
Well, listen, sometimes you need to be Danhausen and be entertaining.
Yes.
Different ways.
I should have brought some little people out for my segments and
listen, it's getting traction, Zach.
It's true.
Okay. So there'll be a lot more to come. We're trying to do some different things and we're going to attach it to OSN and do some live shows coming up. And who knows what happens on Monday Night Raw? Do they turn the page and set a new direction tonight? We'll see.
Yes.
But looking forward to that. Zach, thanks very much for your time. This has been your WrestleMania review on This Is Wrestling.